For the A-listed building on Calton Hill, see Old Royal High School, Edinburgh. The Royal High School of Edinburgh is a co-educational school administered by the City of Edinburgh Council. The school was founded in 1128 and is one of the oldest schools in Scotland. It serves 1,200 pupils drawn from 4 feeder primaries in the northwest of the city: Blackhall, Clermiston, Cramond and Davidson. Mains. The school's profile has given it a flagship role in education, piloting such experiments as the introduction of the Certificate of Secondary Education, the provision of setting in English and mathematics, and the curricular integration of European studies and the International Baccalaureate. The Royal High School was last inspected by HMIE in April 2007. The rector is Pauline Walker, who replaced Jane Frith, the first woman to head the school. History. The Royal High School is, by one reckoning, the 18th oldest school in the world, with a history of almost 900 years. Historians associate its birth with the flowering of the 12th century Renaissance. It first enters the historical record as the seminary of Holyrood Abbey, founded for Alwyn and the Augustinian canons by David I in 1128. The Grammar School of the Church of Edinburgh, as it was known by the time Adam de Camp was rector in 1378, grew into a church-run borough institution providing a Latin education for the sons of landed and burgess families, many of whom pursued careers in the church. In 1505 the school was described as a high school, the first recorded use of this term in either Scotland or England. In 1566, following the Reformation, Mary, Queen of Scots, transferred the school from the control of Holyrood Abbey to the Town Council of Edinburgh, and from about 1590 James VI accorded it royal patronage as the Schola Regia Edinburgensis, or King's School of Edinburgh. In 1584 the Town Council informed the rector, Hercules Raleigh, that his aim should be to instruct the youth in piety, good manners, doctrine and letters. As far as possible, instruction was carried out in Latin. The study of Greek began in 1614, and geography in 1742. The egalitarian spirit of Scotland and the classical tradition exerted a profound influence on the school culture and the Scottish Enlightenment. The Romantic era at the turn of the 19th century was for Scotland a golden age of literature, winning the Royal High School an international reputation and an influx of foreign students, among them French princes. The historian William Ross notes, Walter Scott stood head and shoulders above his literary contemporaries. The rector, Alexander Adam, held a similar position in his own profession. By the end of the Napoleonic Wars, an old scholar remembered, there were boys from Russia, Germany, Switzerland, the United States, Barbados, St. Vincent, Demerara, the East Indies, besides England and Ireland. The Royal High School was used as a model for the first public high school in the United States, the English High School of Boston, in 1821. Learning Greek ceased to be compulsory in 1836, and the time allotted to its study was reduced in 1839 as mathematics became recognized. The curriculum was gradually broadened to include French, after-hours fencing and gymnastics, German, science, drawing, military drill, English, gymnastics as a formal subject and swimming, music, and history. In 1866 classical masters were confined to teaching Latin and Greek. A modern and commercial course was introduced in 1873. A school choir was instituted in 1895. Through the centuries, the school has been located at many sites throughout the city, including the Venel of the Church of St. Mary in the Fields, Kirkhopefield Wynd, Cardinal Beaton's house in Blackfriars Wynd, the Collegiate Church of St. Giles of St. Mary in the Fields, Blackfriars Monastery, High School Yards, the famous Regent Road building on Calton Hill, and Jock's Lodge. The Jock's Lodge site is now the Royal High Primary, and is no longer associated with the secondary school. For many years the school maintained a boarding facility for pupils from outside Edinburgh. The boarders ranged in age from 6 to 18. The house, as it was known, was located at 24 Royal Terrace and in later years moved to 13 Royal Terrace. When the boarding house was closed, the records of all boarders, the artifacts such as the board with the names of head boys, and the memorial to boarders killed in the 1939–1945 war, were lost. The Royal High School moved to its current site at Barnton in 1968, vacating the old Royal High School buildings. In 1973 it became a co-educational state comprehensive. The school's premises underwent extensive refurbishment between 2001 and 2003, funded by a £10 million public-private partnership project with Amy plc. Academics. The most recent report was April 2007. HM inspectors found very high levels of attainment at all stages, motivated pupils who took a pride in the school, and a very positive school ethos. Pupils scored highly in national examinations, consistently outperforming those in comparator schools as well as the Edinburgh and national averages. 130 university entrants from the Royal High School, a 30.1%, went to one of the Sutton 13 top UK universities in the 5 years between 2002 and 2006, second among Scottish state schools and colleges. In 2006, the Royal High School's ranking for higher grades was joint third in the Edinburgh State School League tables. The school has dropped down 11 places out of the top 20 in the Scottish schools rankings since 2009, since the new rector took over. Traditions. The school uniform is black and white, derived from the municipal colours of Edinburgh. Girls wear a plain white blouse, school tie, black blazer with crest, black skirt, trousers, black tights and black polished shoes. The boys' uniform consists of a plain white shirt, school tie, black blazer with crest, black trousers and black polished shoes. The school blazer is still available but is no longer a compulsory part of the uniform, and children are allowed to wear other jackets as long as they are not worn inside the building. A black and white striped tie is standard for the lower years. A plain black tie denotes a 6th year. The school badge features the school motto and the embattled triple-towered castle of the school arms. When full colours are awarded to a pupil, a new pocket is attached to the blazer with the school emblem embroidered in silver wire with the dates of the present academic year either side of the badge. Pupils wear uniform within school and at official functions where they represent the school. The Prefect System was established in 1915. The Royal High School armorial bearings derive from the shield of the city arms, and Untitled, the Act of Parliament on the subject in 1672. The simple early form can be seen on a carved stone formerly set above the principal entrance to the school at Blackfriars in 1578. The pediment from the 1578 building was incorporated into the Regent Road building in 1897. The present design was matriculated by the Lord Leon in 1920. The description reads, "Sable, a castle triple-towered and embattled argent masoned of the first, windows and doors open, gules set upon a rock proper. Above the shield is placed a helmet befitting its degree with a mantling sable doubled argent, and in a scroll over the same this motto muses, Res Publica Florit." The W.C.A. Ross Memorial crest displaying the school arms was unveiled at the main entrance at Barnton in 1973. The Royal High School song is Viva Scola Regia, written in 1895. Sports and Games. That Act of Council in 1851, which freed our Saturdays, should be held in high esteem by all our athletes, for it is the Magna Carta of our cricket and football clubs. It rendered possible the formation of a cricket club in 1861, to be followed 7 years later by a football club. The Royal High School boasts many venerable sporting clubs. The RHS Cricket Club was formed in 1861. The RHS Rugby Football Club was formed in 1868. The RHS Golf Club was formed in 1876. The RHS Athletic Club was formed in 1920. The RHS Bike Club was formed in 2011. These clubs were pioneered by former and attending pupils, who originally played the games together. Among the celebrated student founders of cricket and football at the school were Taverner Nott and Nat Watt, who undertook the labours with the encouragement of Thomson White, reportedly the first master to take a serious interest in sport at the school. The sporting clubs were formally integrated into the school body when, in 1900, at the request of the club captains, 2 masters undertook the management of cricket and rugby. The school's annual games date from the early 1860s, following Queen Victoria's grant of Holyrood Field to the school for use as a cricket field in 1860. At first the organisation of the games was undertaken by the masters, but at the request of the rector, James Donaldson, the burden was assumed by the cricket club, which carried it until the outbreak of the First World War. The nation's system was introduced in 1912 by later rector, Dr. William J. Watson. This has continued to the present day. On joining the school, every pupil is allotted membership in one of 4 schoolhouses, known as nations, named after the gents or primordial peoples from the infancy of the Scottish state. Angles, Britons, Picts and Scots, siblings, are members of the same nation. The nations originally competed against each other in athletics, cricket and rugby, the champion nation being awarded the school shield for the annual session. This system has evolved over time to include other extracurricular interests such as drama and music, conceived as a character-building exercise. The annual games and nations system were intended to foster team spirit and encourage physical activity among all pupils. Within each nation, masters were appointed to committees to develop under-15 and under-13 cricket and rugby teams, and to broaden participation beyond the first and 15 by training pupils of every level of ability. The competitive scheme proved popular with pupils and teachers and has since been expanded to encompass a wide variety of games, sports and other extracurricular activities held throughout the year. Nation badges were introduced in 1928. Today the nations compete for the Crichton Cup. This was first presented as a trophy for the Inter-Nation Squadron swimming race in 1914 by J.D. Crichton, whose sons were at the school. In 1920 it was transferred to the Nation Championship in scholarship and athletics combined. Earlier generations of Royal High Scholars had played their own schoolyard game, known as clachan, from the wooden bat used by players, and as late as the 1880s no high school boy considered his equipment complete unless the wooden clachan hung to his wrist as he went and came. But the rise of national games, especially rugby, the grant of Holyrood Field for cricket in 1860, and the construction of a gymnasium and swimming bath in 1885 meant the ancient Royal High School yard game was extinct by 1911. Former pupils have made countless contributions to national life. Amongst these names are Robert Adam, architect; Thomas Coutts, banker; Alexander Graham Bell, inventor; John Cruikshank VC, Royal Air Force officer; John Menzies, businessman; Robert Ferguson, poet; Robin Cook, politician; Ronnie Corbett, comedian; Walter Scott, author; Wartime service. Many former pupils won naval, military, or Air Force awards. School fellows who died in battle are commemorated by the memorial porch and brass tablets in the school hall. The upper architrave of the marble Doric portico is inscribed with the phrase from Simonides: Omicron Upsilon Delta Epsilon Tau Epsilon Theta Nu Alpha Sigma Iota Theta Alpha Nu Omicron Nu Tau Epsilon Sigma. They died but are not dead. Class clubs. The Royal High School clubs of the 18th and early 19th centuries were class clubs, formed by cohorts of old boys who had studied for 4 years under one master before being taken under the rector's wing in the 5th. The names of some of the last class clubs are immortalized in the school prizes they endowed, such as the Boyd Prize now awarded to the Ducks of Formai, the Macmillan Club Prize, a gold watch now awarded to the Ducks in English, and the Carmichael Club Medal now given to the Ducks of Form 3. However, because the traditional cohort system was governed by independent masters with separate student followings, the club classes did little to foster a common school spirit. Thus, even after 1808, when 14 former pupils of Dr. Alexander Adam banded together as the first high school club and commissioned Henry Raeburn to paint a portrait of the master as a gift to the school, the old independence resurfaced again in 1859, when the 5 surviving members handed over the priceless masterpiece to the Scottish National Gallery. The school instituted legal proceedings against the club, but in the end had to make do with a Cruikshank copy of the original, presented in 1864. School clubs. Today the Royal High School has 3 flourishing former pupils clubs in the United Kingdom. The present Royal High School Club was founded in 1849 under the presidency of Robert Dundas Haldane Duncan, 1st Earl of Camperdown. The first annual report, dated July 1850, contains the original constitution, Clause IV, which states, "The objects of the club shall be generally to promote the interests of the high school, maintain a good understanding, and form a bond of union among the former pupils of that institution, known in the beginning, like its predecessor, simply as the High School Club." It adopted its full name in 1907. Since 1863 the club has given an annual prize at the school games. It also pays for the framings of engravings of former pupils and other artworks which decorate the walls of the school. The Royal High School Club in London was founded in 1889. On the occasion of its 70th anniversary dinner, the Scotsman reported, "We believe the London Club is indeed the oldest Scottish school club in existence in London. Among the members are no 111 HRH, the Prince of Wales, Sandringham." The third former pupils club in the UK is the Royal High School Achievers Society. The Royal High School Club was formed in Winnipeg in 1914, and after lapsing into inactivity because of the war it was revived in British Columbia in 1939. The Royal High School Club was formed in 1925 to help former pupils in the East. It disbanded in 1959. The Royal High School Club flourished between the 2 world wars and was revived in the 1950s. European partnerships. The Royal High School has international relationships through regular musical exchanges with sister cities on the continent such as Florence and Munich, and with other schools such as the Theodor Linden Gymnasium, Munich, the Lycée Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Lyon, and the Scuola di Musica Giuseppe Verdi, Prato. In 1992 to the school was awarded European Curriculum Award by the British government in recognition of its contribution to the development of European awareness in education, in part due to the baccalaureate publications. The official school magazine is Scolaregia. This is a vox discipuli that enables pupils to air their views and showcase their literary and artistic talents. It features news and creative input from all sections of the school community, including regular club reports and interviews with famous former pupils. The journal is produced by an editorial committee of student volunteers, usually with the assistance of a teacher from the English department. It is partly financed by commercial advertising and is published in the autumn. The Malcolm Knox Prize is awarded annually for the best contribution. The first, short-lived, school magazine was published in 1886. Like its successor, it was subsidized by the school club. The maiden issue of Scolaregia appeared in 1895, and the present series began in 1904. The magazine's archive is both a repository of irreverent anecdotes about school life and a valuable source for history in a larger sense. The wartime volumes contain many letters from former pupils serving at the front. The Royal High School also publishes an annual report at the end of the school's session in June-July. As the school's main publication of record, it contains future session dates, a staff list, the Rector's Report, a program for the Commemoration Day ceremony, a list of awards, and a report from each subject detailing staffing, academic achievement and general events that went on in that subject in the past academic year. The Rector's Report was first published in 1846. Rectors. Popular culture. Among the Royal High School's appearances in literature of the stories related in the Gentleman's Magazine, Walter Scott's autobiography, Lord Cockburn's memorials, Captain Basil Hall's logbook of a midshipman, George Borrow's Lavengro, George M. Cree's 1866 poem, The Old High School, and William Boyd's The New Confessions. The most celebrated of all is the Green Breeks episode in Scott's novel, Waverley, Appendix 3. The author, a pupil from 1779 to 1783, reminisces wistfully about the bicker, or traditional mass brawl, humorously likened to a Homeric battle, fought in the streets of Edinburgh between pupils from different social classes. A school ballad, The Woeful Slaying of Bailie Macmorran, was founded on a school siege of 1595 known as the Great Barring Out. This turbulent history continues to inspire new work. Gentleman's Bends is a play by C.S. Lincoln which premiered at the Edinburgh Fringe in 2006. It dramatizes the fatal shooting during the siege of a chief magistrate, John Macmorran, by pupil William Sinclair, a grandson of George Sinclair, 5th Earl of Caithness. This incident is also taught as part of first-year history curriculum.